कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचरी यमुना तीरवनचरी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचरी यमुना तीरवनचरी हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल तेरे नाम संकीर्तन कीजिए हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र कीजिए जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद जी कीजिए उपस्थित भक्त वृंद की जय नचाए गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
प्रभु हरे कृष्णा एंड थैंक यू सो मच। प्रभु वॉइस आपका थोड़ा ऐसा दूर से आ रहा है ऐसा लग रहा है, और थोड़ा ना कम कम हो रहा है बीच बीच में।
ओके, एक बार मैं चेक कर लेता हूँ प्रभु जी।
हाँ, दिस इज ओके, ये सही है प्रभु, ये सही है।
ओके प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनश्लाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य स्थापितं येन श्रीचैतन्यभीष्टं स्थापितं येन स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांस्य श्रीरूपं साग्रजतां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमन्ते श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। हरे कृष्णा। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल I extend my deepest gratitude towards His Grace Subal Prabhuji, who has kindly given me this opportunity to serve Srimad Bhagavatam in the assembly of such wonderful devotees. So I thank each one of you from the core of my heart for giving me this opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is that sun which has risen in the darkest region of Kali Yuga to give us the light. And it not only gives us the light, but it gives us the knowledge through which we can come out of the ignorance, and it gives us the bhakti. And when bhakti comes, jnana and vairagya automatically comes. So I thank each one of you, and I request you to kindly pray for me so that I can, so that whatever I have heard from my spiritual masters and proper sources, I can bring that knowledge in front of you as it is. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripasinduഭ്യവച पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Anandakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. So last week we have celebrated Gaur Purnima. You all must have heard about this Gaur Purnima festival, which comes on the day of Holy Festival. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also very fond of Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, we all have that enthusiasm to hear about the Rasa Pancha Adhyay of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, the episode of that Rasa dance of Krishna with the gopis. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so fond of Srimad Bhagavatam's Dhruv and Prahlad pastimes that he used to read and hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam with Gadadhar Pandit. He used to hear it for 108 times, these episodes of Dhruv and Prahlad. So that was really close to his heart. So from this we can understand that Srimad Bhagavatam is not about the conjugal loving affairs of Srimati Radha and Sri Krishna, but also the loving affairs of the Lord and his devotees. So that's why Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, uh, before starting the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Granthe Rarambha Kari Mangalacharan, Guru Vaishnava Bhagwan, Tinere Smaran Hoy, Vigna Vinashan, Anayase Hai Nicha Vanchita Puran. That Granthe Rarambha Kari Mangalacharan, it is a tradition that before we open the Granth or before we open the book, Bhagavatam, Granthera Arambakari Mangalacharan, we do this auspicious prayer, we invoke these auspicious prayers from our spiritual masters and the whole disciplic parampara. Granthera Arambakari Mangalacharan, Guru Vaishnava Bhagwan Tinere Smaran, and then we offer our obeisances to Guru, Vaishnava and Bhagwan, and we remember them, Tinere Smaran, and then what happens? All the inauspiciousness and the contaminations and our shortcomings are being purified by just remembrance and purification of this invocation of the prayers. Granthera Arambakari Mangalacharan, Guru Vaishnava Bhagwan Tirere Smaran Hoy Vigna Vinashan. All our vignas, all our impediments are destroyed at that moment. And we get all the benefits. Anayase Ayanicha Vanchita Puran. And whatever our spiritual desires are, they are fulfilled. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he thanks and offers his obeisances to not only his spiritual master, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, but to all the disciplic succession, to whole Guru Parampara. And in this way, we are also offering obeisances to Guru Parampara, and then we are reading and hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam. And especially this particular canto, where we find that the exchanges between or the conversation between Srila Shukdev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit is happening. And basically, this particular chapter is the final chapter of this Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto. And it speaks about the brief question answers of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Parikshit Maharaj asked and Shukdev Goswami answers to them. Lord Shukdev Goswami is now speaking to Srimad Bhagavat, is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam in this canto to Maharaj Parikshit. And the same Srimad Bhagavatam conversation which is happening between Maharaj Parikshit and Srila Shukdev Goswami is been narrated by Sutta Goswami to the rishis of Naimisharanya, to the great sages of Naimisharanya, who were doing yajna. But when they heard that the great devotee and speaker of Lord Sri Krishna is coming towards our Naimisharanya forest, so then the rishis who were doing yajna for the prosperity of the age, people of the age of Kali Yuga, They extinguished that Yagya Kunda and they all gathered at one place and they requested Suta Goswami to kindly narrate this wonderful pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam, which happened between Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami to narrate. Because Srila Suta Goswami was also hearing those pastimes when because the Suta Goswami was also hearing those pastimes when Srila Shukdev Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. So let us dive into our today's verses, starting from text 44. ईतहं भावेन कथितो भगवान् भागवतमः नेतं भावेन हि परं द्रष्टुम अर्हन्ति सूरयः. Synonyms translation prepared by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. The Lord is not only the creator and destroyer of the material manifestations of his different energies, he is more than a simple creator and destroyer, for there is his feature of Ananda, or his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by the pure devotees only and not by others. The impersonalist is satisfied simply by understanding the all pervasive influence of the Lord. This is called Brahman realization. Greater than the impersonalist is the mystic who sees the Lord situated in the heart of Paramatma, in the heart as Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord. But there are pure devotees who take part in the direct pleasure, Ananda potency of the Lord by factual reciprocation of the loving service. The Lord in his abode called the Vaikuntha planets. The Lord in his abode called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, always remains with his associates and enjoys transcendental loving services by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors. The pure devotees of the Lord thus undergo a practice of that devotional service to the Lord during the manifestation of the creation and take full advantage of the manifestation by qualifying themselves to enter into the kingdom of the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita 18.55 confirms भक्त्या माम अमिजानाति यावान्ये अस्मि तत्वता ततो मा तत्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदांतरम. By development of pure devotional service, one can factually know the Lord as He is and thus be trained in the bona fide service of the Lord and be allowed to enter into the direct association of the Lord in so many capacities. The highest glorious association with the Lord is made possible in the planet of Golok, Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna enjoys himself with the gopis and his favorite animals, the Surabhi cows. A description of this transcendental land of Krishna is given in the Brahm Samhita, which is considered by the Lord Sri Chaitanya to be the most authentic literature in this connection. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Broji. Thank you so much. So here Shukdev Goswami is narrating the pastimes of the Lord as how he does the material creation and all. So that's why he describes here that the great transcendentalist does describe the activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotee desire to see more glorious things in transcendence. Because what up till now Shukdev Goswami was speaking about the material aspects, that how the creation takes place, how the planetary systems and how the creation takes place. But pure devotees, they want to know one step ahead of this, because they don't want to talk about the material world or his mainly his activities of creation, but they are more uh, interested in the description of his beautiful pastimes with the devotees. So this is what attracts them. So that's why here mentioned they are deserve to see more glorious thing in transcendent beyond these features. Paras tasmat bhava anyo lokoyam ajam avyayam. That beyond this material world, there is also one transcendental world. So devotees aspire to go there, because unless and until we hear about Taj Mahal or Eiffel Tower, we don't develop a desire to go and visit there. But when we hear about it, then we develop a desire. So similarly, when the pure devotees hear more about the glories of the Lord and his devotees and about his Goloka Dham, which has been explained here, then they are also interested in going there. Because Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate, the Lord's different potencies or innumerable potencies are working for the pleasure of the Lord. And so, in this way, the Lord uh, designs this creation through the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karanodaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. But still, the Lord is feeling separation from his devotees who are in this world. So for them, the Lord descends and performs these pastimes in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, in Dwarka, in Mathura, in Jagannath Puri, so that he can attract those conditioned souls. Because generally the Mayavadis or the impersonalist philosophers, they only aspire after Brahman, that God is light, Brahma Jyoti. But they don't know that the Brahma Jyoti is that same effulgence which is coming from the body of Lord Krishna. And then there are yogis who close their eyes and who sit on in a secluded place and they meditate on the Paramatma feature in their heart. But they are also not realizing the Supreme Lord in a full way. But then the devotee comes. So the third category is the devotee category, where he tries to analyze that the Lord is present in impersonal aspect also. Like we say Vishnu. What does it mean? The Lord is there in each and every anu. So that's why we call it as Vishnu. Then the devotee also realizes that the Lord is in the heart also, because he is that same Lord who is giving them instructions or giving them the sanctioning of his desires. Man proposes, God disposes. So in this way, in the heart, the Paramatma is also guiding the living soul. And in Katha Upanishad also, this has been explained that there are two birds sitting on one same branch. One bird is busy in eating the fruits, but the other is witnessing his activities, or the other is trying to help him. So in this way, in our body, we are having Atma and Paramatma. So the Paramatma continuously watches us, witnesses us, and he gives us the direction. But sometimes we are too busy with our own activities and things that we don't realize the inner voice of the Paramatma. And then the devotee realizes the Supreme Lord in the form of his Supreme Personality. That he knows that the Lord is having the Sham Sundar form where he's playing his flute and attracting his devotees and the conditioned souls uh, from the uh, from this dark region of material world. So then the devotees goes for that feature, because in the Brahma Sutra also it is explained Anandamayo Abhyasat. We are experienced to seek happiness, but we are seeking happiness in the wrong place. So that's why the Lord does these pastimes, so that we can understand about his glories in Tattvata. That's why this beautiful shloka of Bhagavad Gita comes here, that Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. If you want to understand the Lord, then the more easy process is the bhakti. Then only we'll be able to realize the Lord in a fullest picture, that is known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Yavan Yas Chashmi Tattvata. And when we know him in facts, then what happens? Tato mam tattvato gyatvo vishate tat anantaram. Then we enter into the direct association of the Lord. And the Lord's direct association means in the association of devotees. When we come and hear about the activities and glories of the Lord, then what happens? We also develop an interest and desire to serve the Lord. And not only when we comes to service, we say, "Oh Prabhu, why are you calling me servant? I am not servant." But this is our position, that Jivira Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. We are the servant of the Lord. But in the material world, we see we are serving our senses, we are serving our family, we are serving our bosses, we are serving our dogs, pets. Everybody we are trying to serve. And if we are not serving anybody, we are serving our own senses, our own desires. So it's better to serve the senses of the Lord's, which is who is also known as Rishikesha. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. That will be the Uttam Bhakti we can do. Because in Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha Vrindavan also, Lakshmi Sahasa Satasambrava Sevya Manam. Thousands of Lakshmis and Gopis, they are massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. And not only that, Surbi cows are also there in the Goloka Vrindavan Dham who are, uh, who are performing pastimes with the Lord, who are serving the Lord with their own milk or other things because the cows are very dear to the Lord. So Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambreva Sevya Manam. So in this way, the gopis, and there are thousands of desire trees in that Goloka Vrindavan, which are wish fulfilling trees, and the Surbi cows there give unlimited of milk. So this is the description of the Goloka Dham. It has been explained in Brahma Samhita also, where Lord Brahma describes about the Dham, the supreme abode of this, which is far beyond this material world. And that's why Arjuna also addresses Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Mama. That you are the supreme abode of all the yogis and jnanis who are seeking shelter. You are the ultimate shelter. So that's why Lord Chaitanya also considers this in Brahma Samhita. So we'll move on to next verse, text 45. नास्य कर्माणि जन्मादौ परस्यानुविधीयते कर्तृत्व प्रतिषेधार्थं मायायारोपितं हि तत्. Synonymous translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Purport. The Vedic direction for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world is this. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayat yat prayanti abhisham vishanti. In example, everything is created by Brahman. After creation, everything is maintained by Brahman, and after annihilation, everything is conserved in Brahman. Gross materialists, without any knowledge of Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan, conclude material nature to be the ultimate cause of the material manifestation. And the modern scientists also share this view that the material nature is the ultimate cause of all manifestation of the material world. This view is refuted by all Vedic literature. The Vedanta philosophy mentions that Brahman is the fountainhead of all creation, maintenance, and destruction. And Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentation of Vedanta philosophy, says Janmadhyasya yato anyad anvayad itarastas charteshva pignah swarat, etc. Inert matter is undoubtedly energy with potential to interact, but it has no initiative of its own. Srimad Bhagavatam therefore comments on the aphorism Janmadi, so Janmadhyasya, by saying Abhigyaha and Swarat. In example, the Supreme Brahman is not inner matter, but he is supreme consciousness and is independent. Therefore, inert matter cannot be the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance, and restriction of the material world. Super, Superficially, material nature appears to be the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction. But material nature is set into motion for creation by the Supreme Conscious Being, the personality of Godhead. He is the background of all creation, maintenance, and destruction. And this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord, and she can work under the direction of the Lord, Adhyakshena. When the Lord throws his transcendental glance over the material nature, then only can the material nature act. As a father contacts the mother, who is then able to conceive a child, although it appears to the layman that the mother gives birth to the child. The experienced man knows that the father gives birth to the child. The material nature therefore produces the moving and standing manifestation of the material world after being contacted by the Supreme Father and not independently. Considering material nature to be the cause of creation, maintenance, etc., is called the logic of nipples on the neck of goat. The Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this logic of Ajagala Stananya as follows, as explained by His Divine Grace Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. The material nature as the material cause is known as pradhana, and as the efficient cause is known as maya. But since it is inert matter, it is not the remote cause of creation. Kaviraj Goswami states as follows: अतएव कृष्णमूल जगत कारण प्रकृति कारण यैचे अजगलस्तन because karana because karana vasyashi Vishnu is the plenary explanation of Krishna. It is he who electrifies the matter to put into motion. The example of electrification is quite appropriate. A piece of iron is certainly not fire, but when the iron is made red hot, certainly it has quality of fire through its burning capacity. Matter is compared to the piece of iron, and it is electrified or made red hot by the glance of manipulation of the supreme consciousness of Vishnu. Only by such electrification is the energy of matter displayed in various actions and reactions. Therefore, the inert matter is neither efficient nor the material cause of the cosmic manifestation. Sri Kapila Deva has said, यथो यथोल्मुकाद् विस्फुलिङ्गाद् धूमाद् वापि स्वसंभवात् अपि आत्मत्वेनाभिमताद् यथाग्निः पृथाग् उल्मुकात्. The original fire is flame. Its sparks and its smoke are all one. For fire is still fire, yet is different from flame. Flame is different from spark, and sparks are different from smoke. In every one of them, namely in the flames, in the spark, and in the smoke, the integrity of fire is present. Yet all of them are differently situated with different positions. The cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke because when smoke passes over the sky, so many forms appear, resembling many known and unknown manifestations. The sparks are compared to the living entities material nature, pradhana. One must know that each and every one of them is effective simply because of being empowered by the quality of all of them, namely the material nature, the cosmic manifestation, and the living entities, are but different energies of the Lord fire. Therefore, those who accept the material nature as the cosmic manifestation's original cause, Prakriti, the cause of creation according to the Sankhya philosophy, are not correct in their conclusion. The material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. Therefore, setting aside the Supreme Lord as the cause of all causes in the logic of Ajagalasthana or trying to milk the nipple out on the neck of a goat. The nipples on the neck of a goat may seem like sources of milk, but to try to get milk from such nipples will be foolish. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So here in this verse, Shukdev Goswami further explains that there is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. That means the Lord engages his innumerable potencies to create and destruct the material world. And in fact, the Lord expands himself, or the Lord gives different responsibilities for creation to Brahmaji, uh, maintenance to Vishnuji, and destruction to Lord Shiva. So in this way, the Lord gives the different departments, like we see in the ministry. So how the different departments, this defense department or this education department, are being given to different uh, leaders. So similarly, uh, this three, creation, maintenance, and destruction, is been given to the different leaders like Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. And secondly, not only that, apart, this is about the secondary creation, but the primary creation is done by the Lord when it has been when from the Shankarshan, this uh, Mahavishnu comes, and through Mahatattva he produces this material world, or he glances, as we have discussed in this purport, that when a when a man and woman, they come in the association, then they beget a child through the process. So similarly, the Lord, by just glancing on the material world, he impregnates these living entities, and all other things in the creation takes place. So this is what the one aspect of understanding. Secondly, the Lord's potencies are working for the creation and destruction of this material world. So there is no direct engineering by the Lord, because the Lord is not directly involved. Although the the boss or MD of the company has created the whole factory, or the whole established the whole company, but he has not directly created it, because all his ministers and assistants, they have created it, but it is under the MD or managing director only. So same way the Supreme Lord's energy are directing in this way. And in the Vedas, what is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the ideas that material nature is the creator. So nowadays scientists say, or the many people who don't have faith in the scriptures and all, they say this material world is all in all. This Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. Like also the impersonalists said that only the Brahman is Satya and this world is false. So this is also a wrong aspect of understanding. But the scientist also says that this material nature is also all in all. There is no further thing. So here I'm reminded of one nice story, that there was one scientist. So he invited all his friends for, you know, for lunch or something at his home. And when all these his friends came, so he designed a beautiful, you know, uh, a globe, or what we say, the globe of this thing, creation, or he has created a beautiful globe, you know. Uh, so the friends were asking that who created this beautiful globe. So this scientist, who was there, he said, it came automatically. So the friends were laughing that what are you saying? Are you kidding? Because how this can take place without, without the help of anybody? There should be some source behind it. So the scientist then told yes. So as you accept that for this beautiful globe creation, there should be someone who has created it. Similarly, the creation of this world, the material world which we are living, it is also created by somebody. So this is what we have to understand. It is not that this material world is all in one, all in all, or there was some explosion and then all the things came into manifestation. No, explosion only does destruction, not creation. So this is what we have to understand. And similarly, in the very first canto, very first chapter, and very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord explains that Janmadiyasya yato anvayad itarasasya arteshva abhignaswarat tene brahma hridayadi kaviye muyanti suraya. That I am the cause of the creation, destruction, manifestation of this material world. Janmadhyasya yatovanvayaditharatasya artheshva abhijñaswarat. And I am the knower of the everything, and I am independent. I am not dependent upon this. Although I have created it, but I am not dependent upon this. And तेजो वारी मृदम यथा विनिमय यत्राति सर्व अम्बरीश धामना स्वेना सदा निरस्तकूपम satyam param धीमहि. Although I have created it, but still I am aloof from this because I am sitting in my own abode, which is known as the Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha Loka, and from there I am operating it through my different energies. And sometimes even the demigods also fall into illusion, thinking that it is water, but it is fire, or thinking that this is land, but this is water. So in this way. So similarly, the scientists of today's era, they also think, this world is all in all, there is no world beyond it. But no, the scriptures gives us a clear understanding. The Lord has created this planetary system, and beyond and above this also Svargalokas, the upper planetary systems above the earth, and below the earth there are, hellish or the lower planetary systems called Patala, Sutala and all. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that Maya Dikshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetu Nanena Kauntaya Jagad Viparivartate. That under my supervision the material nature acts and it creates the char and achar, the moving and non-moving living entities. Hetu Nanena Kauntaya. And Hetu, they also have something to act. Like we have also some role to do in the in this material world. So similarly, everything in the material world is not a waste, but hetu nan. There is some hetu behind it. Hetu nan eva kaunteya jagat viparivartate. And similarly, this creation takes place, and then at last the annihilation also takes place. So this is what is been explained. And similarly, the sparkles of the fire, okay, they fall, uh, when they fall away from the fire, then they don't have any existence. Similarly, till the time we are in the association of the Lord or in the association of devotees, then we have some value. Otherwise, we don't have any cause, or otherwise we don't have any attitude to serve. So that's why. So as long as we are in this material world, so we have also one part to play. Like Krishna tells in Gita to Arjuna that Bhava Savyasachi, that Nimitta Matra Bhava Savyasachi, that become a Nimitta and uh, perform your duties as a Kshatriya to kill all these uh, demoniac persons and then establish the Dharma. So in this way, we are also in this world. So we have also some duty to do. Like we have our material duties to do work and to maintain our family members. So in this way, we also have a spiritual duty in which we have to do our services to the Lord. We have to realize our position that I am not this body, but I am the spirit soul, and my duty is to serve the Lord and to understand these beautiful scriptures which have been uh, given by our wonderful acharyas, so that we can hear about it, meditate upon it, and realize what is the actual goal of our life. Hare Krishna. And at the last, Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice analogy that sometimes we see that sometimes people see that the nipples on the neck of a goat may seem like sources of milk, but to try to get milk from such nipples will be foolish. So similarly, many people think that do your duties properly and do your karma, good karma, and you will be liberated. But this is not the case. Unless and until we will do devotional service, we will not be liberated from this material world. If we do good, we have to uh, face our good reactions, and if we do bad, we have to face our bad reactions. But in both the circumstances, we have to come down to this earth, or we have to come down to this material world to perform our or to continue our karmas. But when we do the devotional service of the Lord, then what happens? We go back home, back to God, to the abode of the Lord. Hare Krishna. So we'll move on to the next verse number 46. अयं तु ब्राह्मणः कल्पः स्वै सविकल्प उदारितः विधिः सादरणो यत्र सर्ग प्रकृति वैकृतः. Synonymous translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Translation. This process of creation and annihilation, described in summary herein, is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. It is also the regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. Purport. There are three different types of creation called Mahakalpa, Vikalpa, and Kalpa. In the Mahakalpa, the Lord assumes the first Purusha incarnation as Karnodaksha Sai Vishnu, with all the potencies of the Mahatattva and the 16 principles of creative matter and instruments. The creative instruments are 11, the ingredients are 5, and all of them are products of Mahat and are materialistic ego. These creations by the Lord in his feature of Dakasai Vishnu are called Mahakalpa. The creation of Brahma and dispersion of the material ingredients are called Vikalpa, and the creation by Brahma in each day of his life is called Kalpa. Therefore, each day of Brahma is called a Kalpa, and there are 30 Kalpas in terms of Brahma's days. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8.17 as follows. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu Ratrib Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vidojana. In the upper planetary system, the duration of one complete day and night is equal to one complete year of this earth. This is accepted even by the modern scientists and attested by the astronauts. Similarly, in the region of still higher planetary systems, the duration of day and night is still greater than the heavenly planets. The four yugas are calculated in terms of the heavenly calendars and accordingly are 12,000 years in terms of the heavenly planets. This is called Divya Yuga, and 1000 Divya Yugas make one day of Brahma. The creation during the day of Brahma is called Kalpa, and the creation of Brahma is called Vikalpa. When Vikalpas are made possible by the breathing of Mahavishnu, this is called a Mahakalpa. There are regular and systematic cycles of these Mahakalpas, Vikalpas, and Kalpas. In answer to Maharaja Parikshit's question about them, Sukadeva Goswami answered in the Prabhasa Kanda of Skanda Purana. They are as follows. परतामाश्वेतकल्पाश्च द्वितीयो नीललोहित वामदेवास्तृतीयास्तु ततो गतन्तरो परा रौरव पंचम प्रोक्ता षष्ठ प्राण इति स्मृता सप्तमो थ बृहत् कल्प कंदर्पो स्थाम उच्यते सद्योत नवमा कल्प ईशानो दशमा स्मृता धयाना एकादशा प्रोक्ता तदा सरस्वतो परा त्रयोदश उदानास्तु गरुडोत चतुर्दश कौरम पंचदशो ज्ञेय पौर्णमासी प्रजापते षोडशो नरसिंहासुतु समाधिस्तु ततोपरा अग्नेयो विष्णुजसौरा सोमकल्प ततोपरा द्वमिंसो भावना प्रोक्ता सुपुमान् इति छपरा वैकुंठास् चरितास् तद्वद् वालिकल्पा ततोपरा सप्तविंशो तथा वैराजो गौरीकल्पास् तथा परा महेश्वरास् तथा प्रोक्तास् त्रिपुरो यात्र गतीता पितृकल्प तथा कंचन्ते या कुहुर ब्रह्मणा स्मृत. Therefore, the 30 kalpas of Brahmas are Svetakalpa, Nilalohita, Vamadeva, Gatantara, Raurava, Prana, Brihatkalpa, Kandarpa, Sadyota, Isana, Dhyana, Saraswata, Udhana, Garuda, Kaurma, Narasimha, Samadhi, Agneya, Vishnuja, Saura, Somakalpa, Bhavana, Supuma, Vaikunta, Arsisa, Valikalpa, Vairaja, Gaurikalpa, Maheshwara, 30th one is Patirkalpa. These are Brahma's days only, and he has to live months and years up to 100. So we can just imagine how many creations there are in Kalpas only. Then again, then again there are Vikalpas, which are generated by the breathing of Mahavishnu, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. यस् यस्यैक निस्वास्थिता कलं कलम् अतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोम विलजा जगदान्धनता. The Brahmas live only during the breathing period of Mahavishnu. So the exhaling and inhaling of Vishnu are Mahakalpas, and all these are due to Supreme Personality of Godhead. For no one else is the master of all creation. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Thank you so much. Very long purport, and it is very deep about the process of creation. So the translation. This process of creation and annihilation described in summary here is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. So whatever this creation and annihilation we have just read in the last few verses, which is described here, is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. So this is what the creation and annihilation takes place in Lord Brahma's one day. And it is also regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. So quite technical, but we'll try to understand this. Lord Brahma's one day is known as the Kalpa. And each day of his life is Kalpa. And secondly, as we heard that in the beginning there is Karanodayaksha Vishnu from Mahatattva. He lies in the ocean of causal ocean, and then from his skin pours all the different universes as he breathes, inhales, as he inhales all the different universes from his skin pores, they come into the existence. And then Garbhodayaksha Vishnu, he uh, he has been manifested in each one of these universes. And then from this Garbhodayaksha Vishnu, Brahmaji comes, and other demigods appear to assist him. So and then in each one of those universes, whatever the different incarnation takes place, that is happening through the Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So in this way, this is a big chart or a big subject which is known as, the Goloka chart, which has been explained. So we have the opportunity to hear this in a more brief manner through our, uh, great devotee, His Grace Radhapat Pankaj Prabhuji. He explains this very nicely. Of course, he has all these technical things uh, about that, how is the kalpa and what is the cycle of Brahma and all. But it has been explained that one day of the demigods are like our 6 months. So in this way, it's a huge time calculation and a huge time frame, which has been explained more vividly here in this kalpas and vikalpas and these things. So from this, what is the learning for us is that even though we may be, at a good position, a manager, a CEO, or a president, or what we say, a big king, a Chakravarti Samrat, but still, if we hear about these glories of the Lord, about the creation and the pastimes of the Lord, then we are bewildered. So that's why the Lord is so great and so great that we cannot count his unlimited glories. As we can see that Bill Gates is having, millions and trillions of dollars wealth. But when we go to count that wealth, as we finish, more $1,000 are credited in his account. And as we finish counting that, more trillions of dollars credited in this account. So similarly, the glories of Lord are like this. The more we try to understand it, the more it increases. As we grow old, you know, uh, we lose our composure, we lose our strength. But when it comes to the Lord, as we hear about him, we speak about him, his glories, grow unlimitedly. So similarly, this is what we can understand from this, that there are different kalpas and what mahakalpas, vikalpas and all. So when uh, the Brahma lives for 100 years, and his 100 years are like so much, because we see from the Brahma Viman Leela also that his few minutes where is equals to the 1 year of this earthly planet. So in this way, we can, you know, give and rough estimate that how big is the creation of the Lord, and where Brahma is, living for 100 years, and at his this kalpas and vikalpas and all things. So this is what happens when the Lord Vishnu or the Karanadaksha Vishnu, he inhales and all the universes manifest. And when at the end of or at the end of annihilation, when he what we say, when he exhales, all the universes come into his body, and then the Brahma also, winds up his creation, and he also enters the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord, Karanadaksha Vishnu. So we'll move on to our next verse, text 47. परिमाणं च कालस्य कल्पलोक्षण विग्रहं यथा पुरास्तद् व्याख्यास्ये पद्मं कल्पमस्तो शृणु. Synonyms translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu. Okay, I'll read. O King, I shall in due course explain the measurement of time in its gross and subtle features with specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me you explain unto you the Padma Kalpa. The present duration of Brahma, the present duration of a Kalpa of Brahma is called Varaha Kalpa or Shveta Shveta Varaha Kalpa, because the incarnation of the Lord as Varaha took place during the creation of Brahma, who was born on the lotus coming out of the abdomen of Vishnu. Therefore, this Varaha Kalpa is also called Padma Kalpa. And this is testified by the Acharyas like Jiva Goswami as well as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the pursuance of the first commenter, Swami Sridhar. So there is no contradiction between the Varaha and Padma Kalpa of Brahma. So now Shukdev Goswami is, addressing Maharaj Parikshit, that now in due course I will explain you the measurement of time in gross and subtle features with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain you this Padma Kalpa. So now here Shukdev Goswami talks about this Padma Kalpa, which has been testified by different acharyas like our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami. They are like the scholars of our Guru Parampara system, and Swami Sridhar also. So this duration of Kalpa Brahma is called the Varaha Kalpa or Shvetashvatara Kalpa. Why? Because at that time the Lord Varaha appeared this during the creation of Brahma. So we know this wonderful story which or the wonderful pastime of how Lord Varaha appears and how he saves Bhumi Devi uh, from the Rasatal, because there was a demon known as Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, the two big terrorists uh, from the very first age, from the Satyuga. So Hiranyaksha, in order to trouble the Mother Earth, he with his strength he took the Mother Earth and he uh, he dissolved it in the Patala. Mother Earth. At those times, they used to live in different planets. So that's why this Vasudha or Mother Earth was being kept in the Garbha, in the Rasatala planets. So then the Lord Varaha appeared from the Nasika or from the nose of Brahma. So Lord Varahadev appeared from the nose of Brahma. So when he appeared, it was a very small boar incarnation. And then it grew, it grew, and then it took the form of a mountain. And then uh, uh, through his tusk, big tusk, he saved Mother Earth from from the ocean. And then Hiranyaksh, he came to fight with the Lord. And then the Lord and Hiranyaksha, Lord Vara and Hiranyaksha had a great fight there. And then he defeated and he killed the. And then in the meantime, Lord Varadev, what he did first, he kept the Mother Earth at a proper orbit at the place, and then he went for a fighting match with this Hiranyaksha. And then with his own tusk, he killed this the demon called Hiranyaksha. And then later the Hiranyakashipu, in order to take revenge for his brother's death, then he, what we say, then he ordered and he did tapasya to get all different bones from Lord Brahma and then to challenge Lord Vishnu. So this was the pastime of Lord Varadev, which appears in this Varaha Kalpa. So that's why this Kalpa is also known as Shweta Varaha Kalpa or Varaha Kalpa. And there are many incarnations of Varadev also. Shweta Varaha Kalpa, that one incarnation is in the white form, other incarnation was in red form. So it happens in different kalpas or the different lifetimes of Brahma. So this is what it is explained here. We'll move on to next verse, text 48. शौनक उवाच यद् अहानो भवन् सूत शता भागवतोत्तमः चर तीर्थानि भुवस् त्यक्त्वा बन्धून् सुदुष्ट्यजन्. Shiron is translated in Papat by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Anybody would
Shaunak
like to read?
Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Sut Goswami about Vidur. For Sut Goswami had previously informed him how Vidur left home, leaving aside all his relatives, who were very difficult to leave. The rishis headed by Shaunak were more anxious to know about Vidur, who met Maitri Rishi while traveling to the pilgrimage sites of the world.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. So now Sukdev Goswami, gives the synopsis of the how the creation takes place and how there are different kalpas of Lord Brahma and how Lord appears in each of those kalpas. Then after that, Shaunak Rishi, who was the leader of all the sages of Naimisharanya, he is also known as Bhrigu Putra, Shaunak Rishi. So Shaunak Rishi then, after hearing this, he raised a question that he inquired from Suta Goswami about Vidurji, because we saw in the first canto that how Vidurji uh, came to how Vidurji left the kingdom of Hastinapur and then later he went for his pilgrimage yatra. So then what he did, so that's why the Suta Goswami, from Suta Goswami, this he is inquiring Saunak Rishi that what happened. For Suta Goswami had previously informed him that Vidura left home, leaving aside all his relatives who were difficult to live. So generally this is known as the family attachment. Okay. Family attachment is so strong that even it has been seen in animal species also that when the separation comes, it becomes intolerable for them to get separated. So that's why Sonak Rishi is telling here that although these family attachments are very difficult to leave all our relatives, then how come this Vidurji left home? And you further elaborate on this So this is what he is requesting, inquiring from Suta Goswami. And in purport, it has been explained the rishis headed by Shaunaka were more anxious to know about Vidura, who met Maitreya Rishi while traveling to pilgrimage sites of the world. And as he left home, Vidurji, then what did he do? Then how he met Maitreya Rishi? So in this way, he is, putting a humble submission in front of Suta Goswami to explain about this. Because as we heard earlier also, where we started today from the verse, that the devotees are more interested than the creation and all this thing. Of course, this is also one of the opulence of the Lord, but the devotees are more interested in the dealings of the Lord and his devotees, or how the devotees, accept the Lord and how they serve the Lord and how they dedicate their life to the Lord service. So for this, the devotees are always anxious. So similarly, Shaunak Rishi is also anxious to know about Vidura, because Vidura was a pure devotee of the Lord, and he was, although he was a Dasi Putra, but he was worth worshipable for not only for Pandavas but for all. And he was the Dharmaraj, he was Yamaraj only due to the Manduk Rishi's curse, as we heard in the first canto, that he had to take birth as a Dasi Putra, maid servant son. And then, but still, since he was a pure devotee of the Lord, so he also played a role in taking Dhritarashtra out of the house so that he can also make his life perfect. So in our scripture, it has been clearly mentioned that Pancham Urdhva Vanam Rajat, that after 50, you have to go to the forest and break this attachment of family members and make your life perfect by visiting to different pilgrimages, different dhams, and hearing from the devotees, and doing rest of our and for our rest of life doing seva there, doing service there. So that's why in Hindi we say 51, 52, 53. So in this way, like 51, that one में जाना है, 52 one में जाना है. But the followers of Srila Prabhupada, who were very young in the midst of their 20s, 30s, so they accepted the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and they came to Mayapur Vrindavan and dedicated their lives in the service of the Lord and the pure devotee called Srila Prabhupada. So they made it translated in different way, that 21, 31. So in this way, in their early ages, they have dedicated their lives for the service of the Lord. So we'll go further. Text 14 and 50. Shattu Kausharavestasya Samvado Adhyatma Samshritaha Yadvasa Bhagavam Stasmai Prashtastatvam Uvachah Bruhinasta Didam Saumya Vidurasya Vicheshtitam Bandhu Tyaga Nimittam Cha Yathai Vagatavan Punaha. Synonyms translation
Hare
purport by
Krishna,
Srila
Prabhuji.
Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May I read?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri. Shaunaka Rishi said, let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the places of pilgrimage. Purport. Sri Suta Goswami was narrating the topics of the creation and destruction of the material world, but it appears that the rishis headed by Shaunaka were more inclined to hear of transcendental subjects, which are on a higher level than the physical. There are two classes of men, namely those too addicted to the gross body and the material world, and others on the higher level who are interested more in transcendental knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam gives facility to everyone, both to the materialist and to the transcendentalists. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the Lord's glories, activities both in the material world and in the transcendental world, men can derive equal benefit. The materialists are more interested in the physical laws and how they are acting, and they see wonders in those physical glamours. Sometimes, due to physical glamours, they forget the glories of the Lord. They should know definitely that physical activities and their wonders are all initiated by the Lord. The rose in the garden gradually takes its shape and color to become beautiful and sweet, not by a blind physical law, although it appears like that. Behind that physical law is the direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. The artist draws a picture of a rose very nicely with all attention and artistic sense, and yet it does not become as perfect as the real rose. If that is the real fact, how can we say that the real rose has taken its shape without intelligence behind the beauty? This sort of conclusion is due to a poor fund of knowledge. One must know from the above description of creation and annihilation that the supreme consciousness, being omnipresent, can take care of everything with perfect attention. That is the fact of the omnipresence of the Supreme Lord. Persons still more foolish than the gross materialist, however, claim to be transcendentalist and claim to have such supreme, all pervading consciousness, but offer no proof. Such foolish persons cannot know what is going on behind the next wall. Yet they are falsely proud of possessing the cosmic, all pervading consciousness of the Supreme Person. For them also, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is a great help. It will open their eyes to see that simply by claiming supreme consciousness, one does not become supremely conscious. One has to prove in the physical world that he has such supreme consciousness. The rishis of Naimisharanya, however, were above the gross materialist and the false transcendentalist, and thus they were always anxious to know the real truth in transcendental matters as discussed by authorities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, as I was also trying that with my tiny brains, how can I understand the creation of the Lord? So, similarly, here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada also writes that the Shaunak rishis were also more inclined to hear the transcendental subjects of the Lord. Transcendental subjects means which are beyond this material world. The reciprocation between the reciprocations and dealings of the Lord and his devotees, which are far beyond the superior world, because they deal on the platform of Atma, not the bodily conception. So that's why in the translation it is mentioned. Sukdev Goswami said, sorry, Shaunak Rishi said, let us now please what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. So now they are more eager to hear the conversation between not only Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami, but between Vidurji and Maitreya Rishi. Because Maitreya is also very great Rishi, and Vidura, as we know, that he left the kingdom from Hastinapur, and as he was going on the pilgrimage, he met this great sage Maitreya. And although Vidura was very exalted soul, and he knew about the glories of the Lord and the uh, goal of life, but still he took a humble position and they surrendered to Maitreya Rishi to hear from the transcendental on the transcendental subject matter. And how did he give up the connection with his family members and why he again came home. So this has been again the Saunak Rishi are inquiring from this. And what he did in the places of pilgrimage. So this is what the questions are being asked by Saunak Rishi because he was more enthusiastic to know about the Vidurji. So sometimes, as we say in this material world, we are also very much inclined to hear about some famous personality, right? Like Ratan Tata or some other great sportsman or some other people. So we are more enthusiastic because we have to make them our role model because they have those wonderful qualities, they have those wonderful attributes through which they have won the heart of the people. So that's why we want to know more about him, that what he did and how he spent his life like that. So similarly, this Shaunak Rishi was also very admiring. He was admiring Vidurji because he very easily left all his relatives and family attachment and he went into the places of pilgrimage. And what he did and what questions did he ask to Maitreya Rishi. So this was the transcendental subject matter which Saunak Rishi was trying to hear from the Suta Goswami. because Suta Goswami knew all this. And when the speaker is perfect and when the listener is perfect, then the Srimad Bhagavatam's nectar flows like a uh, what we say, like a reverse flow, unaffected or without any khandan or without any interruption. So similarly, when the great devotees like Suta Goswami and Saunak Rishi, when they do paraspar charcha, bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantasya mam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, then what happens? They not only get satisfied, but they become more enthusiastic, they become more humble, and this topic becomes more relishable. And it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto also. Like the Ganga rivers, the river Ganges purifies the three worlds, upper, lower, and the middle planetary system. So similarly, this Ganges of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Ganga ki dhara jo Srimad Bhagavatam ki hai, it purifies all the three people. The one who is putting the question, the one who is answering the question, and the third one are the general public who are hearing this translated subject matters. They all will become purified and they will all become liberated from this material science. So this is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as we hear it more about the transcendental dealings of the Lord, then it will be easier for us to also understand that how we should also lead our human life in such a way that we can also be an instruments in the service of the Lord. So Vidura, as he as he came down from the position of Yamaraj, so he was trying to assist the Lord in his mission by preaching to the different people or by giving good advice to Dhritarashtra so that he can walk the path of dharma. But Dhritarashtra was not blind through his external eyes, but he was blind in his with his spiritual eyes also. So that's why Vidurji for then went back to him also, and then he asked Dhritarashtra, he pushed Dhritarashtra to get out of this family and kingly life of the palace and go down into the forest and do some tapasya. So this is what the Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us, that not only how to live in this world, but how to live from this world. This is what it teaches us. So that's why His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj gives us the nice statement. He says that Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us two things: how to live in this world and how to live from this world. So it is not about the art of living in this world, but art of living from this world. This also teaches Srimad Bhagavatam. And one has to prove in the physical world that he has such supreme consciousness. So that's why the Rishi of Naimisharanya were above this gross materialist and false transcendentalist. So they were more anxious to know the real truth in the transcendental matters. Because when two great personalities come together, then naturally there will be the flow of nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because in this world, when we hear of somebody's greatness, then sometimes we become jealous. But when we hear of the Lord's greatness, then what happens? We become attracted to Him. We want to serve Him. We want to hear more from Him. And and in other words, we want to do some service so that we can also be dear like the other devotees like Vidurji, Maitreya Rishi, Pandavas. So in this way, the Saunak Rishi is putting inquiries in front of Sutta Goswami. And then Sutta Goswami answers in the final verse here of this chapter. Sutta Uvacha Rajna Parikshita Prashto Yad Avachan Mahamunihi तद्वो अभिध तद्वो अभिधास्ये शृणुतु राजना प्रश्नानुशरतः Siran Sasin Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read?
Yeah, Prabhu, थोड़ा scroll करना पड़ेगा ऊपर. Shri Sut Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikshit inquiries. Please hear them attentively. Any question that is put forward may be answered by quoting the authority, and that satisfies the section. This is the system even in the law court. The best lawyer gives evidence from the past judgment of the court without taking much trouble to establish his case. This is called the parampara system, and learned authorities follow it without manufacturing rubbish interpretations. Ishvara Param Krishna, Satchidanand Anand Vigre, Anand Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarvokaran Karanam. Let us obey the Supreme Lord, whose hands in everything without exception. This and the Bhagavad Vedanta purport of the second canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So as we were discussing, when the two great personalities meet, like when the two businessmen meets, so they will then they will share their ideas, how they are going to expand their business, how they are going to bring the new strategies of business, how they will do marketing, how they will do the promotion, how will be the products. So in this way, lot of new things comes for the new entrepreneurs to know and to start their own, what we say, own business or some their own this thing. Startups, yeah. In today's world, it is called startups. So this is what the churning happens. So when the churning happens, the common man, the people in general will be benefited by these two great personalities. So similarly, here Shaunak Rishi is putting the inquiries in front of uh, Shaunak, in front of Sutta Goswami. So now he is very anxious to hear what will be the nectar which will come from the uh, from these two great personalities known as Vidura and Maitreya Rishi, because they are also the both great devotees of the Lord. And by hearing their conversation, they will also be enlightened with this. And to answer this, Shuta Goswami goes back and he says that what inquiries Parikshit Maharaj, the inquiries which you put in front of me, same inquiries were put by Parikshit Maharaj also. So in the similar manner, how Shukdev Goswami answered to those questions, or how he revealed the subject matters in front of Maharaj Parikshit. That same subject matter I am going to unfold in front of you, O Saunak Rishi. Please hear them attentively. So in this way, he says. So so anytime when whatever we speak, we should have some proof or reference or evidence attached to it. Then it becomes authoritative, and and then it will be very easy for the people in general to digest it. For example, we say uh, that no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. When we say this, or when we say that no onions, no garlic, we should not consume this. Then people ask from where you know and how you say we should not take this. Then we quote them the Shastra, that is in scripture it is mentioned that Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati. Or in other scriptures also, Manu Samhita and all, there is a vivid explanation of things which are given for the human society to consume and what are not to be consumed. So there are always do's and don'ts. So whatever we are quoting, this is just example I gave. So we have to quote it from the scriptures, or we should have some backup or evidence, or we should have some same episode which was happened before, so that we can quote. So for example, the lawyer in the court assembly, he will say that as in this case, the same case also happened earlier. So for this, the victim has got this punishment, or the criminal has got this much punishment because of doing this. So the same thing has been uh, done here in the same way or other way. So so my lord, you please give the judgment in the same favor which you did the last time. So similarly, Srila Shaunak Rishi is also uh, answering the questions of Shaunak Rishi in the same way which Parikshit Maharaj, which Sukdev Goswami gave in answer to the Parikshit Maharaj. And the lawyer always works with evidence. So similarly, the devotees of the Lord are also walks with the evidence of the Bhagavad Gita and the scriptures and other great saintly persons, so that they will be able to answer to the questions which the common man will raise. And here the beautiful shloka of Brahma Samhita has been quoted that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Rajir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So the Lord Ishvara or the Supreme Ishwar is the Krishna himself, and he is known as the transcendental body with full of knowledge, full of bliss, and he is eternal. And he is the cause of all causes. So, and he is the prime Govinda. So, in this way, Srila Prabhupada six blessings of Lord Sri Krishna. So that's why he says, let us all obey to the Supreme Lord, whose hands in everything without exception. So, when we understand the hand of God in each and every aspects of our life, then what will happen? We will become peaceful, and at the end, we will become blissful. Generally, when something good happens, we take the credit, I did it. But when something goes wrong, then we say, oh, God did this to me. So this is not the right understanding. But the devotees of the Lord, they learn from these pastimes, or they learn from the examples of Dhruva, Charitra, Prahlad Charitra, Draupadi Charitra, Gajendra Charitra, and similarly the Vidur Charitra, that in spite of great difficulties, how he left the home and he made his life successful by visiting the pilgrimage places and by meeting those great sadhus and by hearing to them, then and how he made his life successful. So this will be unfolded in the next canto of the third canto. So it will be vividly explained there. And to take lessons from these beautiful characters is what Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय, उपस्थित भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. With this, I conclude here, and sorry for my shortcomings. And if any questions or comments, you are most welcome. Hare Krishna.
Jai Hari Hari. Superb, Prabhu. Fantastic. And thank you so much. Very nicely explained. Superb. One of the best classes I've heard recently. Class, Prabhu. Excellent. Anybody, any question? We have concluded Canto 2 with this class. Fantastic class by Prabhu. Any questions? Anybody?
No, Prabhu, thank you very much. You have finalized our Canto 2 now. So we'll move forward to Canto 3. Thanks a lot.
Jai. Rao
Thank you,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
Amit Prabhu, Sumati Mataji, anybody, any question?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Excellent. Prabhu, extremely
Hare
thank you to you. Wonderful class. बहुत अच्छा बताया आज. Please continue to come and please bless us also. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhuji, you please kindly keep me in your prayers, and I will come to take all of your associations.
Jai.
And secondly, in the subject matter of creation, I have not spoken much because I didn't have much knowledge. But if you have any questions, you please park in your mind. The next time the great personalities like Radhapat, Pankaj Prabhu, or other senior devotees, they come on this platform, we can definitely ask them about these questions and doubts if we have come across in today's earlier verses. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णव
Vaishnavibhyo namo namaः.
Vaishnavin ki jai, Prabhupada ki.
Krishna. Thank you
Hare
so much, Prabhuji. Very nice class.
very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.